In this video, you will learn step by step how to use Flodesk email marketing software as a total beginner. Flodesk is probably the easiest email tool I've ever used. It's just so intuitive and it takes you through the settings one step at a time, so you're not overwhelmed even as a total beginner. And I know you might be feeling a bit anxious setting up your first newsletter, but you will be surprised how easy it actually is if you follow this tutorial. I'm here to help you so you don't waste time trying to do it all by yourself. The best part is that Flodesk is risk-free because it offers a 30-day trial and they don't require a credit card for it, so you can try it out before committing to anything. So this is what we will cover during this video: how to sign up with Flodesk with a discount, and then we will create a beautifully designed email using one of the templates. I'll go through how to update the templates, add your images, videos, even this dynamic text with your subscriber's name. After, I'll show you how to add or import subscribers in case you have some already. And obviously we will need a way to collect emails for our list, so we will set up a sign-up form on your website to collect email subscribers. Or if you don't have a website, you can use Flodesk's landing pages, which enables you to create a page and just share it anywhere you like it, and it all runs on Flodesk. To incentivize people to join your email list, I'll show you how to send any digital file automatically to people who just subscribed. And toward the end of the tutorial, I'll show you how to use workflows, which I think is the most powerful feature of Flodesk because it enables you to create automatic sequences of emails. Just so you know, this video is sponsored by Flodesk, but I've been a fan for a long time and I have made already multiple videos even before they reached out to me to make this tutorial. Hello internet people, my name is Robert, and the first step is to scroll down to the description of this video and click on the first link. So you land on this page where we'll sign up with Flodesk, and you can see that it applies the discount immediately. This is if you use my link in the video description. And don't worry if you already started with the free trial, you can just come here and click on your picture here at the top and then plan and billing. From here, choose a plan. And then if you choose email plus e-commerce, that's up to you. So from here, upgrade now. And when it's asking for the billing information, you have here, got a code. If you press on it, you can enter here this code, tips with punch. And this will give you the same discount of 50% of the first year. So let's enter our email address. And then the password. Then let's click on try it free. And now it's just asking, hey, you need to verify your email address. Let's go and do that. So you get this email from Flodesk. All you have to do is click on this button and it will verify the email. You can see welcome back. Now you can log in with your details. Okay, now if you're just starting out of the bat, it will just gonna ask you to create your first email. And this is great, but these things change. So that's why let's click on this logo first. So let's go to the dashboard first. And I want you to be more familiar with the dashboard. So here you have the top menus, and we're gonna go kind of through most of these in this tutorial. Now, since this is an email marketing tutorial, let's start with the most exciting part of the tool, which is sending beautiful emails. To create your first email, just click on the email section here in the top menu. You will land on this page. Looks quite similar to what we just saw in the as the first step, but we get a lot of different templates here. And I think what's unique about Flodesk is the type of templates they have. The emails and the forms are just, they have such a different styling than the other tools I've used so far. Really, you can go through them, or you can also use the filters here on the left to filter out by the certain categories. For example, if you're looking for a welcome email, get some inspiration, you can come here and look at these. Let's say I'm interested in this one. I can preview it by clicking on this first. And then if I hover over this part, I can scroll down here and see how it looks like. Okay. And then obviously this is on desktop. I want to see how it looks like on mobile. I just click on this little icon and it shows me the same thing on mobile phone. Now I'm not looking for a welcome email. I wanted something more salesy here. So I'm just going to come here and click on make money. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you want to start from scratch, it's totally possible. And at some point, you'll probably want to set up your own templates. But when starting out, it's so much easier to use a pre-made template. So I'm just going to select make money. And from here, let's say this one looks interesting. Let me choose that one. And again, here, I'm going to scroll down. Okay, some of these sections I don't need, but don't worry, you can adjust the colors, you can remove sections. So whatever looks in general good, just choose one of those templates. So I'm gonna choose this one because I think it can work really well for what I need. And then let's click on customize. There you go. This is the Flodesk editor, and it's super easy to use. If you ever need to add any sections or new elements, you just click on these little pluses. You get more options. From here, you can add the most common elements you would expect, like images, text, buttons, and things like that. And then you have these layouts. I'm going to come back to these layouts because they're super powerful. But this is how you would add them. But first of all, I don't like that there's a logo here at top, so I want to get rid of it. So if I click on this element, I can just delete it. Or if I click on this element, there's also other options here. I can duplicate it, or I can also go directly to the block settings, which I will now. If I click on this, you see here on the right, it's inside the block. So for this block, we can choose the background. So if I change from here to like the skin color, and you can adjust the padding. So for example, we can adjust the padding on top. You see it adds a bit of margin here at the top, or padding actually. That's what we're doing here. And same thing, we can adjust a bit at the bottom here. So it just has a bit of more space to breathe. And then you have left and right. So that's all you can do for this specific block. But for some blocks, you can do much more. You'll see in a second. We can also adjust the font here just because this is a text element. And if you're not happy, you just change from here. So for example, I can take this one and then it will change it. And then from here, you can choose the weight of the font. So in this case, there's only 2. You can adjust the size, the color, and also the alignment. So if you want something in center, you can do that. And well, you could just shout everything, but this looks really spammy, so I wouldn't do that. And you can adjust this spacing. Now for text, because that's going to be kind of the main part of your emails, there's even more settings. You just don't know it yet. If you just underline any of the text, you get more options. So for example, I can bold the text here, make it italic, also strike through, make it even to a numbered or a bullet list, also add a link to it. So I could just make this into a link. If I click on this from here, I'll just add my link, and then it will, obviously, if you click on it, it will take you to that URL. Right now I don't need it, but the cool thing is you can also attach a file directly from here. So if I attach, you can just upload a file to Flodesk, and then people are able to download it directly. That's really powerful. So next, what we can do, what I want to show you is this variable here. So it just says, hey, first name / friend. That's kind of weird. If I click on it, actually, let's just remove it, and I'm going to add it back in. So here we can type @, and now we can personalize this email. Since most of the time when you get the email address, you also ask for the first name and maybe last name, you have that information in Flodesk. So now if I select first name, and then what it's saying, if first name is unavailable, then display this. So you could add, for example, the friend here. So what does that mean? If we know the first name, then we're just gonna say, hey, Bob, or hey, Lisa, and the friend won't show up. But if we don't know that, if it's empty, it's just gonna use, hey, friend. So that's why you see first name / friend. Next, we have another block. And let's say this one is actually with an image. So I can click on the image. In here, you see we have more options. We have block, but also we have image, layout, and link. So image, obviously, we want to upload an image. So I already prepared some images here. So I'm just going to upload my picture of me. And now you can see that it appears here. You also have some effects I can make. If this is too bright, I could add a bit of opacity so it gets a bit darker. But for this specific element, I think it doesn't make sense. It makes sense that it's just a nice picture of the person. And then I can adjust the layouts here. This is really nice feature because what you can do is here, you see there's an image, I have some text here. So what I can go through is these different layouts. So let's say I'm not happy with this and I would just want to spice it up. So here, if I select this template, it still keeps the image. It does change the text right now here. So that you would need to update it. But at least from here, you can go through some of these templates and see if it fits your needs. So for example, here, Rose My Way. So you can see that I would need to adjust this text and stuff like that. But I think it's just cool that you're able to, on the fly, test out different templates. And there's a lot of them here. So let's say here, I actually want a testimonial. I can just pick this one and I already have it in here. Now I could come here. I don't like the gray color, so I can just come here, click on block, and adjust the background here. So let's pick something a bit less, you know, like I'll just pick the white one. And what else you can do for this specific block, you can also show image. So I could have this without image. I could also remove the header or show the icons. But yeah, let's say I don't want to see the icons, so I can just remove them. So each block has a bit of different settings depending what features it just has. Now, obviously, you can just come here and adjust the text, adjust this description, and also adjust how many stars you have here. So right now, number of icons 4, I can just say 5. So then it's 5 out of 5. Obviously, because it's my service, it's the best ever. But also you have different shapes here. So instead of the stars, you can have fire or, you know, smileys like this. So it's really up to you what do you prefer. So let's say the stars work the best. But I want to have yellow stars because that's more common, something like this. Now, if you scroll down, we have more sections, but I actually don't want this section. I want to remove this one. I'm just going to get rid of it. Same thing with this one. Just going to get rid of it. And maybe these dividers, we're not going to need it. Then we have this countdown timer, and this is really a useful feature if you have some sort of a sale that has a deadline. So for example, if I click on these numbers, from here you have option to adjust the timer settings, and you have two options. You have personalized. So you see timer begins when an individual subscriber opens their email. So when I open this email, let's say I set it to 3 hours. When I open this email and let's say I come back in an hour again to look at it, this timer would say 2 hours. So it remembers the time you open, and it just counts 3 hours from that point. And then you can make a offer within next 24 hours. If you do something, then you get this discount. But maybe a bit more traditional way of using this is to have a fixed time that your sale ends by, let's say I have a sale which ends, I don't know, tomorrow at midnight. So I'll just select from here 12 a.m. So it ends here, and you see that it already updates the time. So it's about a bit more than 8 hours until this sale ends. And it's just gonna count down until, this time is reached, and then the sale basically ends. And you can also adjust the title, description, and also the button. And if I click on this block again from here, you can disable some of this. So for example, if you don't want to have description, you can disable it. But in my case, I don't need this block. I'm gonna just delete it. In my case, it's not useful right now. But what I want to show you here is I'm just going to remove all of these, but I'm going to keep this one, the title, because I want to grab it and just slide it in here above this e-commerce block, which is also, this is a new element that the Flodesk introduced, I think today. It's completely new. So let me delete this stuff first. I'm going to leave the rest. So let's say here, bonus deals. No, I want to have a block saying like work with me. So basically, you can book me for different services. Here, again, this works exactly the same as an image block. You just click on this, and from here, you can upload an image. I have already an image here. So one-on-one call, it's one of my services. So you can actually choose it from here. It uploads here. One thing I want to mention that if you don't have an image, you can also add a photo from Unsplash, which is like a royalty-free image gallery. So let's say I have strategy now. This is strategy related service. So let's see if there's something cool that we could pick from here. So let's say this image, this looks strategy enough, if that makes any sense. But so you can just upload also, this image from the library. But in most cases, it would be better that it's your images. But if you don't have that right now, you can also use these as a placeholder. Now, you can obviously adjust the title and the price, and you don't need to always have at the discount. You just remove this, and then it's not anymore at the discount, right? I just select this, and I'll just make it not strike through anymore, and now the price is like this. Now, what if I want a description here or something, or the layout, you don't like it? Well, you click on the block again here, a bit off on the side. You can choose what to display. Right now, it doesn't display the description, but I could add it here. You see, description, price, and then we have a button. I definitely want a button just because if people click on it, I want them to go to my offer. And there's more options here. So obviously background, how many products you have. We could also have Ford. You see it just shows up there. Or we can adjust the grid as well. So not only the layout, so right now the image is on top, but here you could also adjust, this is first title, description, then you have just title, and then descriptions here at the bottom, and also this layout. If you have a lot of text, especially in description, this could work really well. For now, I'm gonna just keep it to this one where the title is on top, and I could also choose to have only 2-column layout. Right now it's 3-column, 2-column layout, but it doesn't make sense. I have 3 different options here, so I'm just gonna select. Let's say I'm updating this element, and if somebody clicks on the button, I want to add a link. So let's click on the button. Let's change a bit of the styling. So I'm going to make the rounded corners here for the button, and also the color I want to have a bit different. Let's make it a bit more visible, maybe something like this, or maybe even dark brown like this one. And then I need to obviously also change the the text color. So I go to fonts. From here I'll change it to white. That way there's a bit more contrast. And now here I can place a link. I can either do a link to a checkout page from Flodesk, and this is like a whole sales funnel that Flodesk also offers. We're not going to cover that part in this tutorial, but if you're interested in that, you can just click on the top right corner. There's a video, in-depth video, just going through the sales funnel part of Flodesk. In this video, I'm just focusing on the email marketing side. Or you can also place a link to another tool where you can sell products. Just for prettiness, let me upload one more image here so that it makes sense here. So let's say it's this one. Okay, I'm gonna keep it super simple. So what we can do here at the bottom, we just come here. Let's delete this. Let's delete this as well. And let's say we want to add a video, because this quite often you want to add a bit of video content as well. So here, let's click on this. We have the video. And now if you click on this, you see here, you can add a URL from YouTube or Vimeo. If I paste the link here, you can see it just takes the thumbnail from my video, and you can adjust this little icon here. Right now it's not very visible, so I'm just going to change it to red to, look a little bit like YouTube. So from here, yeah, that looks good. And I could also adjust how it looks like, but I think I like that it looks like a YouTube play button. So I'm going to keep it to that. Now, if somebody clicks on it, they'll just go to YouTube and the video will start playing there. And one more thing, I want to show you the layouts. This is something we covered already, but if you click on layouts, from here you can just add one of the layouts we saw earlier. There's a lot of them. So if you're, want some inspiration, want some templates, just grab one of these. They just look really great. I like the designs they have it. I think it will fit a lot of you watching this video. For me, I don't need it right now, so I'm just going to delete this block. I'm going to also delete this signature. Then click on this address. Yours might say a bit different. I already entered something when I was playing around. So if you click on this, you have this address section here, and make sure to click on manage my address. So from here, my street, you just have entered the details. This is just dummy data I have, and you need to enter this address. Flodesk won't let you send any emails if you don't have any address here. I think it's just required by law to have this, some sort of a anti-spam law. So I entered something, save it. And one more thing here before we see how this email looks like. If you click on this last element here, you see unsubscribe or manage preferences. Right now it looks a bit boring, but if we go to we click on it and go to the messages part, you can choose what type of message you send. So you have a standard, so there's a bit longer one, and you see brand name. Don't worry, we're gonna go later and adjust the settings, and this brand name will say your brand name. But I think this is a bit boring, and you have other options here for the text. So here, chill, unsubscribe or manage. Here, no hard feelings. I like that. I'm gonna keep to that, but you can take a look which ones fit your style the best. Okay, I think I'm happy with this email, and I just want to send it. Before that, I'll send it to myself just to test it, but I'll show you how to do that. But let's go and click on next. And if for some reason it says, hey, you didn't enter your address, just follow what it shows you there. Just click on the buttons and enter the address again, and then it should work. So I had a bug where it didn't allow me to go through, although I already entered the address. So just do it again. What I like about Flodesk, it makes these settings step by step, and it's not overwhelming by any means. So you just answer a few questions. So who is this email coming from? So in my case, I'll just add Robert. And here you can see if you want to select another email address, then you would need to manage the senders. Right now, for this test, we don't need to, but later in this video, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, let's click on continue. Write your subject line. So now we can add the subject line. I have here, I prepared something. And then we have the preview text. So what is a preview text? Well, actually, it is the text that shows up just after a subject line. So let me show you. So here I have an email. You see, this is the subject line and this is the preview text. If you don't enter any preview text, it'll just use the first text that you see in your email. So you can see here, this is the preview. So in my case, if I don't enter anything, it'll just say, hey, first name and blah, 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 blah. You can also enter here and entice people to click. You can make it a bit more sensational or just make it more interesting so that people can open up. So for example, if the subject line is how creators use email marketing to generate sales, I could say something. So something like this. I've helped more than 50 creators to make full-time income with these tips or something like this, just to make it a bit more interesting. Now, just keep in mind, the longer your title is, the less the preview text shows. So let's go to continue. And now choose your recipients. Right now, we don't have any segments. So we're just going to add ourselves here through individuals, but you could also upload a CSV. But later in this tutorial, I'll show you how to actually import subscribers to your list. So if you have already existing email list, how to upload it to Flodesk. So usually you would use a segment, and we're going to create segments a bit later, but let's just send it to ourselves right now. So here we can include, right now I don't have anybody, so I'm just going to start typing my email address that I want to send it to, like this. And then I could also exclude certain emails or maybe segments, but right now, let's not do that. There you go. This is going to one person, and I'm just going to click on continue. Now, at this point, what you could do is before you send out, before you do anything, you always should send a test email to yourself. I know we're already kind of doing that because that's the only recipient we have, but you could also, when you have a bigger email list, you can test this by just clicking on this. Okay, test recipient, and then you type in the email address, your email address, so you can see how it looks like, not only on desktop, but also on mobile phones. Let's send the test now. So I'm in my email box, and I actually have to go to spam to see my email. And this is actually expected just because we haven't done all the settings yet. So my Gmail thinks this is a spam because I haven't verified my domain name. I'll show you how to do that in the end of this video. So, but just to test this email, you can do it from here. You can see that right now it doesn't show anything because we need to make sure that this looks safe. So now I reloaded this one, and this email looks great. It looks exactly how I designed it. So I'm glad about that. But one thing is kind of bothering me, and this looks very spammy. And you can get rid of this if you verify your domain name. I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of this tutorial. And it's super important to do, just because if you don't, then sometimes your email will keep ending up in the spam folder, just because Google thinks you're a spammer because you're sending an email in the name of this domain name, but actually it came through this domain name, and it's just a Flodesk, like an email domain name or something. So later on, we'll show you how this would say, your domain name.com. Okay, so once you test it, you come back here, and now we can also choose when to send this email. You can send it immediately, or you can also schedule it. So from here, you can select the date, and let's say I want to send it, I don't know, tomorrow. And from here, time, choose a time. And if I choose a custom time, let's say 9 a.m. or something. And let's save it. There's also other options. Best time for morning, best time for afternoon. So if I click on that, it actually tells me around 6 a.m. is the best time in the morning. You can play around with this. You can choose one of these if you feel like they match what you want. But for now, I'm just going to use the 9 a.m. Let's save it. And from here, you can choose the time zone. I'm in Central European time, so that's correct. And then you can click on schedule. And let's click on schedule it. Okay, perfect. There you go. You have your email here. It's you see it's scheduled for tomorrow at 9 a.m. And if you have more emails, they'll just show up, all of them here and under emails menu. And by the way, if you are interested in setting up an email newsletter in Flodesk, but just need a little help or guidance, then book me for a one-on-one call or check my Flodesk turnkey services where I'll just build it for you. The links will be in the description. Okay, now you have created your first email, but before we do anything else, let's look at some important settings that are essential for your emails, that we don't basically repeat ourselves all the time, and also email deliverability. Otherwise, your emails might just end up in the spam folder, which is the worst case we have. So here, if you go in the top menu and here on the right, you click on this icon, then you see here, let's go to email setup first. So you see I'm in my account, and we can set the from name from here. Because we already sent one email, it remembers, and you can definitely adjust this one. From email is this one, and you could also add other senders here, the from name and also from email. But you would need to also confirm that email, that you actually, own that email. Then you have the domain setup, and this is super important to do, especially when you start sending out emails to your subscribers. Because if you don't do this, it increases the chances that your emails will just end up directly to spam folder. So it's really important because Gmail and Outlook looks at this verification, and if it doesn't see it, it thinks, hey, this is a bit of suspicious. So just do it before you start sending out emails, and I'll show you how to do it at the end of this tutorial. Then we have branding options. So if I click on branding, you can upload a logo from here. So right now I don't have a good, but I'll just add myself as a logo. And if you want, you can also, it shows up in different places. So I'll just add it like that. Then you have brand colors. So if you have specific colors, let's say, I would say, hey, I have, this is one of my brand colors. And then you have another brand color, which is, let's say it's this one. I already know these, but if you don't know how to create these matching colors, I have a great website to just see what colors matches. And it's called coolers.co. What makes this tool great is, let me show you, start the generator. So you just pick one color, or you just let it pick all the colors for you. So there's a tutorial here, but basically what you do here, let's say I don't like any of these colors. I'll press spacebar on my laptop, and you see, okay, I kind of like this green, so I can lock this green. And now every color that it shows you will fit with this green color. And I'm just pressing on the space bar here. Let's say I want a very contrasting, I want a very colorful, I can just lock this one. And now I can just see, oh, okay, I could have this dark blue or violet, I guess. And maybe this light color. So now what you can do is grab these hex codes. So you just grab this, copy it. Now you come here in the branding and you can add that here. So this is how you could find out a hex code. From here, you can also upload a brand font. So if you have your own font, you can upload it here. And then you have company details. So for example, in my case, my company details, let's say it's tips. And my website, I can just link it here, punch like this. We already entered the company address. And then if you want to add any social links, you can do it from here. So let's say I have a YouTube, I can add it from here. So like this. And let's say I have also Instagram, I would just add it here. And now these two, whenever I add a social element or social icon element in my emails or my forms, they will show up. So only the Instagram and YouTube will show up because that's the only ones I've set up. And then you have this made with love in Flodesk footer. So if I'll show you in the email. So it looks like this, made with love in Flodesk. And if somebody clicks on this and they actually sign up and pay for Flodesk, you get an affiliate commission. And the person also gets 50% off the first year. But if you don't want this, if you don't want to promote Flodesk, you could disable it here. But right now I'm not on a paid plan, so I cannot actually do it. So it's not allowing me. And then let's go through opt-in setup. Now double opt-in emails, especially when you're starting out, I would not enable it. But if you do want to, double opt-in email just means that if somebody signs up to your newsletter, they get an email saying, hey, thanks for subscribing. Can you basically confirm that you intended to subscribe to this? And then you need to click on the link or a button, and then only then you become a subscriber. If you don't click on the link or the button, then nothing happens. You don't become a subscriber. Why do you want to have this? The good thing is if somebody actually, receives your email and clicks on the button, then at least you know they're active. They want to be there. It's not an accident. Whereas without the double opt-in, you'll get some subscribers that either put wrong email in their in your form, or maybe some other things. They might be less engaged with your newsletter. So it's a choice. But when you're starting out, it's just easier to get a bit of traction when you don't have this, because it's an extra step for people to take. If you choose to enable double opt-in, I'll show you how in a second when we build a form. Then you would adjust the email from here. Same thing for your thank you page. When people actually sign up through double opt-in, then you would have a thank you page also there. And then you have preferences page. This is where people can adjust their preferences in terms of emails. You can adjust how it looks like. You just click here on edit and adjust the information. And then quick, I want to mention is the integrations, and you can connect directly Flodesk to Instagram, Shopify, but also to Zapier, which is a really powerful tool, which helps you to automate a lot of things. And it basically connects different types of tools to each other. Some tools you can connect directly, like Typeform and Kajabi here, but some you'll need to use Zapier to actually connect. First you connect Flodesk to Zapier, and then the other tool to Zapier, and that way you can create automations as well. But that's a bit more advanced. Okay, let me quickly show you how to add or import subscribers to Flodesk, and also how to create new segments. Okay, that's the boring part. Let's go back to to the main dashboard. And here, what we need to do before we go further, if you want to import any subscribers you already have, you just come to Audiences. And from here, you can add subscriber. You can add individually, or you upload a CSV. So let's say you want to upload from another email tool. Let me show you. I have some dummy data, and I'm going to just upload it. And you see, you need to map the different fields in Flodesk. So this is the fields that I have in my CSV. So there you go, Arnie Pumping Iron. Yeah, that's the email. Then first name, I'm just going to link it to the first name field in Flodesk. Then last name. And then I already have some groups here. So what if I need a group section here? So what I can do is just click on new field. And then now I can add interest. So this is actually an interest, not a group. So if I add that, there you go. Now it's gonna map it to interest. Subscriber date here, I don't know if you need that. You could also add that, but in my case, it doesn't really matter. So let's click on continue. So now you need to say, well, which segment you're adding this subscriber to. Right now, I don't have anything, so I need to create a new segment. Let's say they all go to this generic newsletter. I'm gonna give it a color, blue, and then click on save. And now it adds it there and continue. So now it's importing the list. I only had like 4 or 5 there, so now you should see. So right now it didn't show anything. Let me refresh this page. And there you go. It took like a minute, and then it shows up. I again refresh the page, and here you go. These are the new ones I just have. Okay, there you go. I'm not sure why it says bounced here, because these are also not a real, these are not real email addresses. So interesting, but I guess it just knows that @test.com is not a real email. But I have now a list here, and now I have one segment, but I could create more segments here as well. So let's create a new segment. So let's create a new segment, and I'm going to call this interested in email. So let's give it a yellow, save, and then we can also create, I don't know, interested in websites. And you'll see later when I create a form why this is important. So I would definitely start segmenting as soon as possible, because it's just going to help you down the line. Okay, so I have 2 interests, and then I have just the generic newsletter. Next, we need a way to collect emails from people, because there's no point in sending emails if we don't have any subscribers, right? And I think a lot of you already have a website, so we can use pop-ups or embedded forms to collect the emails. But if you don't have a website, then use a full page form or the new link in bio form. These two, Flodesk just provides you with URL, and you can share it anywhere. And it acts like a mini website for you. I will dive deeper into full page, how to create one, at the end of this video. Okay, let's create a form. So let's click on forms here at the top. And then here, just new form. Now you have a lot of different templates here as usual. So same as we saw with emails, there's a lot of templates here. But what you can do here on the left, you have some filters. If you have already a website, then I would use a pop-up or inline. We're going to actually use inline. But then if you don't have a website, then I would definitely check out link in bio or full page. Link in bio fits better creators, or if you want to link to this page through your social media or something. So let's say you have an Instagram, and Instagram only allows you one link in your profile. So you can place it there. And what you can do, let me show you, some of these examples are really great for that. So what you can do is actually in Instagram, so once somebody clicks on that link, they will land on this page, and you see that they can either subscribe to your newsletter, or they can visit your website, purchase certain, products, or, you can just link them to different places from here. Perfect if you don't need a website, but a very lightweight kind of a hub for all your links. And then you obviously have full page, which is basically acts like a mini website for you. And the thing they can do here is to sign up to a newsletter. So it's not really a website per se, but it's just a very basic, a page with this form. But we're going to start first with inline and then look at link in bio later. So I'm going to filter by inline. And if I scroll down here, there's more designed versions of this. So I want something with an image. So either I can go with this one or maybe this one. Design wise, I kind of like this one. I'll just need to change a bit of the color. So I'm going to click on it. We're saying, hey, if somebody subscribes using this form, which segment should we put it in? So I could say it's a generic newsletter, but let's say this is a promotion for my emails. So my email course or something like that. So I'm giving out a free email guide. So I'm just going to say interested in email, because that way I can segment my subscribers. So let's click on save. So building an inline form works exactly the same way as an email. So if you click on anything, more options will appear here on the right. And again, we can upload an image. So for example, here I have avoid spam folder. So this is like my giveaway to my viewers. Now you can see it doesn't really work here. So maybe I can change the shape. So I'll do like this, and maybe I can drag it like this. Yeah, works better. So the image is not a square, so that's why I have to kind of move it along like this. Great. And then I can obviously update the title. And this way too long, so I need to reduce the size of the font here. This looks better. Then I have an email address. So if I click on this one, you can see that there's only one field right now, but actually I would like to have more than that. So from here, what I can do is already have email address, and it's actually mandatory. You cannot not have it. But from here, I can add first name. Let's say first name, I'll keep as default, and I can drag it here on top. So I want to have first name and then email address. At this point, that's all I'm going to ask for. The less you ask at this point, the higher chance there is that they will sign up. So this form specifically has options, segmentation options. So people could pick what they sign up for. So for example, here they have like news and updates, discounts and sales and so on. But for me, I don't want to even show this. What I need to do is click on this block here. So just somewhere outside. And now here you have the form, and then you have the preferences. I want to disable that. So I don't want to see that. Okay, great. Then you have some other options. We're already looking at this for this block itself. I'm going to change the background as well. A bit too much in your face. So I'm going to change to one of my brand colors. Let's see if it works better. I'll use this one, but now if I go into text and make it black, then it will work much better, like this. Cool. Same thing with these fields. I need to stylize them. So I'm going to just make sure that the border is like this. And then font, again, I just need black, just so that it stands out. Great. And now same thing with this button. I can come here and let's just add another fill color like this. And then let's change the font color to, I think white will work better than yellow. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, I'm gonna again click just somewhere here at the top so that it's taking the whole block. And here you do have few options still. You can change the background style. You can see that now in the background there's the secondary color, and it kind of goes there. So I like how it looks like, but maybe I'll change the color to a bit more interesting one. So I could now choose this one. I actually like this color, but I would like to flip them. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna flip them around. Okay, maybe this is a bit too dark, so let's see if something else works better. So something like this. It just looks a slightly different. From here, I can also adjust the width of the form. So let's say if you don't want that wide, I'm just gonna keep it to 900. This. We can preview it on desktop and also on mobile. Okay, looks great. So if somebody lands here, they're gonna just be able to fill in. But you notice there's no image. That's because here, image on mobile. So you can actually enable it. And then if you come to mobile, you'll notice first there's an image, and then you have the text and so on. Now the title is a little bit too big on mobile, so I'm gonna just reduce it slightly so then it works better on mobile as well. So let's take a look. Okay, I like this a bit more. I could even reduce it more if it's necessary like this, especially if most of my visitors are on mobile, which for most of you it will be, then it's good to have a bit that it works really well on mobile. So always check that it's working. Cool, I like how it looks like, and the thing about the inline form is it's quite simple. That this is pretty much all you can do for design, because we're gonna place this on our website. So from here, what I'm gonna do is click on next. And then Flodesk is asking you if you want to have double opt-in. I already mentioned if you're starting out, maybe it's better to avoid double opt-in. So for now, just say no. So then let's click on continue. Then it's asking if you want to be notified when somebody subscribes. Now, in the beginning, it might be exciting to get, notifications that somebody subscribed. But, once you get the ball rolling, it's a bit overwhelming. So I'm just going to say no. I don't want to not be notified. And then if you go next one, after this form is submitted, display success message or redirect to URL. So in most cases, you're just gonna show a success message, but maybe you actually wanna redirect people to certain page. But this requires that you have maybe another sales page or a website where you can redirect people. For me, the success message is fine because it's just gonna be a form on my homepage. Let's click on continue. So now it's giving us the code that we need to place on our website. Now it's saying here, recommending basically, hey, put this one in the head section of the website. This is something that developers would understand. And also then you put this inline code wherever you want to show this form. But we're going to just simplify it. Wherever you want to show this form, we're just going to paste both of these codes. So then it works per page. I have here my website. And I'm already in WordPress and in Elementor, but this will work with any page builder because they all have this element. So this is my website. Let's say I want to place the form somewhere here. So I have, let's say somewhere between here. So what I can do is I come here and just look for an element called HTML. Again, pretty much every page builder has something like this. And now I'm able to place the HTML code here. And this is also HTML code. So I'm going to copy this, go back here, place the code. And then I'm just hitting enter a few times. So this is the code that we just copied. And we want to copy the second part of the code here as well. So now when I copy it, I can place it here. You can see that the form appears immediately. Now it doesn't really fit the design right now. You can see there's blue and this kind of a skin color, but you can see that it already appears. And now if I would preview the changes, when I scroll down, you'll notice I have the form. It works perfectly. So now I can add myself to the list like this, and then just click on get on the list. And this is the thank you for subscribing. This is what you see once you're done. So this is how you add the form to your website. So one thing I forgot to mention is how to change that thank you message. So I didn't show that. So let's go to design from here. So we're in the code section, but we can go to design. And when you click on the background, you have the message section. So this is when they subscribe, what do they see? From here, you can choose, you can choose the friendly one, or you can also type in yourself. Here's a custom one. So you just come here and you can start typing thanks, or whatever you want to say at this point. Thanks for, so you could say something like this, hey, thanks for the sub, and you'll get your checklist within a few minutes, because that's basically what we promised to do. We promised to send that, avoid emails going to spam. This is a checklist, so I'm going to send that to them. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second with workflows. So once you're done here, this is basically now saved. You can go back to Flodesk, and you notice in forms, you have now this form. And from here, you can also, pick the code. This will open up the embed code again. Or you have other options if you need to customize it, change segments, edit, and so on. So you're able to create these forms just like this. Works pretty much same as the emails. Next, we will dive into email workflows. And this is probably the most useful part of using email marketing software like Flodesk. So you don't have to do everything manually. And instead, you set it once and it will work for you forever. This is the secret to working less, but getting higher sales and revenue. So one of the biggest challenges when starting with email marketing is getting more subscribers to join your list. To incentivize people to join, most email newsletters offer a lead magnet. In other words, some sort of a free digital product like an ebook, checklist, or a short video course. It really can be anything that people find valuable. And in exchange, they provide their email address to you. Now, creating the lead magnet is not part of this tutorial, but there is a lot you can do with a software called canva.com. I'll leave a great video about it in the description of this video, but my biggest tip is that you keep the lead magnet short, so that it's just quick to consume and your subscribers, get the value quickly. So let's go to workflows, and now here we can create a new workflow. Now there's a few options here, and you can choose one of these, but we're just gonna start from scratch because it's easier to show that way. So I wanna now send the checklist to people that sign up to the form we just created. So I'm just gonna call it Avoid Spam Box Lead Magnet. So let's save it. Workflows just start with the trigger. So something has to trigger this workflow. In my case, it will be, I'm gonna select a subscriber is added to a segment. As you remember, when we created the form, we added the segment here. So when they sign up through that form, they're added to this specific segment. So now I can say, hey, when people subscribe to this form, then do something. So I can here, if I just hover over, I see a little plus, and now I have more options. So when they subscribe, I want immediately to send an email with the freebie. Here we can start to create a new email, and I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to call the email Avoid Spam Checklist. So let's save it. So you can see it adds this, my logo, which is my picture. I'm going to just delete that. I don't think we need that. And the text part, I will need it. So let me update that a little bit. So I'm going to remove this text and just place my text that I already have. Here I just greet the person and say thanks for basically subscribing. And now what we need to do, so I have the text. I need to link this text. So grab it here. I want to make it to a link. And I could now make it into a link, but maybe it's even better if I make it into a button. So from here, as in an email, any emails, we already went through that, we can add a button from here. So now I'm going to just say that download it here. Let's remove this button. I'm not sure why is it here, but now this is the background color, but I want the button. I want to change the button slightly. So my buttons are a bit like this. And then the border color, actually I want it to be filled. So this is just the borders filled like this, and fill color. I think I wanted something like this. No, that's a bit too little. Yeah, this works better. So one of these like this. Okay. And then I want to align it to left. And what I can do now is, instead of this text, I'm going to cut it out. Place the button here. So I just need to remove the spacer. And then I'm going to add here another text block like this. Now it's center aligned, and I like that. I'm going to align it to the left. So now it looks a bit more natural. But this one has a bit of padding. You see, it's not aligning here on left. So I come here in the block section. Now the padding, it has a bit of a left one. You see, if I make it 0, now it kind of fits here. It's on the same line as the other one, or maybe it's not. So I need to see what the difference is. This is at 0. I'm going to also make this one at 0. So let's go and adjust that quickly so it looks nice. Right now here, there's a 10 pixel padding. Okay, great. I can remove this text. Let me make it look a bit better. Okay, like this. So now obviously we need to do something. Once somebody clicks on this button, they need to get the freebie. So I'm going to click on this. Then in the link section, I can attach a file. So let's upload a file. And I have already here the PDF checklist. So if I select that, and by the way, this is a real checklist that you can download if you just follow the link in the description. And it's actually a checklist where you can see how you can avoid emails going to spam. So I'm going to click on open. It just means now the file is attached to this button. So if somebody clicks on it, they will be able to download it. Okay, this email is done. Let's click on finish. So let's click on this email one more time. You see you can edit it here. Sender and subject line. Actually, this is the subject line. So let's change that to something better. So it's not like this. The cool thing about subject lines, you can also add some personalizations here. So if I type add, I can type in first name, friend, and then just add, here's your checklist. So it will just say something like, hey, Robert, here's your checklist. And then you can also add preview text. In this case, I'm not going to add it. And that's it. This email is now done. So it's going to get sent immediately as somebody subscribes to this segment. Now, what we can do later is after this is sent out, we can add a delay. Let's say 1 day delay. You can also adjust from here, 2 days, or maybe even certain day of week you send an email, day of time, and so on. So let's say we just wait for 2 days and then we send another email. So from here we can say email. And I'm just gonna use the other email as example. So let's say this one. Let's say this is a second email, and this is about useful tips with email marketing. So what I can do here, let's change this so it's clear. Useful tips. I'm gonna remove this. This is just to dummy content so that you can see that you can add other emails. Now on top of that, you can also add some logic here. So instead of time delay or email, you can add a condition, or you can also take an action. We're gonna take a look at condition first. And it's just asking that there's something below it. But yeah, let's just say move step to yes branch like this. So now it moved, the subscriber will complete this workflow. So I don't know why it's asking that, but in any case, it works like this. You have now condition. And what we can say is when subscriber is in the segment or open a workflow email or has clicked on a link, then we do something. So let's select subscriber has clicked on the link like this. And we're going to choose the email, the first email. So the checklist, and then choose a link. So in this case, it's that link to download the freebie. So if I choose that, when somebody clicks on this, then you have a yes or no situation. If somebody clicks on it, they will go into this flow. If somebody doesn't click on it, then they go here. Now it's complaining that I don't have any delays. So let's add a bit of delay here. So I'm just going to say time delay, 1 day. And now it comes to this condition. So after 1 day, this email has been sent, you can now do things. So for example, let's say somebody does not click on that link and didn't basically get the checklist. So we can send a reminder email. We can send, okay, another email. Let's just use as a template this one. And you could just send a reminder. Hey, did you get this email? Did you get the checklist? Did you like it? You can just follow up automatically. But what if they did click on it? Well, we can start maybe upselling some of our paid courses. So here we can add another email. I'm going to again just use this as a template. And we can start selling things. So for example, here subject line email with video course offer. Obviously, you would set up the email and so on. I just want to show you that the possibilities of the workflows. So in this workflow, not only do people get a second email with useful tips, but also within a few days, for 3 days after they should have received the checklist, we also look at, hey, did they actually open or downloaded that file? If they did, then we can start selling to them. But if they didn't get the value from us yet. So maybe we can follow up on that. So in this case, let's say, yes, they open, they're ready. We could start selling to them. And once this flow is ending, we can take an action. So from here, we can say action. So take the following action, add subscriber to segments and remove subscriber from a segment. So we could also create a new segment. We could call it something like, we could call this something like warm lead for email. So this just means that they've got the value from our checklist and they're ready to be, nurtured into customers. So from here, you could add one of the segments, but let's say I'm just gonna add, just for an example, I would need to create a new segment for this to actually make sense. So let's say interested in websites. So then let's say we're done. We can now publish this and just publish now, and it will start working. As soon as somebody signs up to that form, they will actually get this, they get into this workflow. So they will get that. So they will get that email and so on. So let me show you how it actually works. So on my website, let me just sign up. Okay, I'll get on the list. Okay, thanks for subscribing. And there you go, you get this email. So now I can just click on this download button. There you go. You land on this PDF and now you could just download it from here. And this is the way your subscriber would experience this. And then in 2 days, they'll get another email and so on. That's how the workflows basically work. So, okay, if you don't have a website, let's create a form for that. Okay, let's go to forms and again, new form. And in this case, you can choose if you want a link in bio, if that makes more sense, if the designs fit your needs more. These are kind of new. You can see they just added them recently. And this is a great addition, especially if you just want a link hub. Or then you can go with more traditional full page, kind of a sign up page. They look like this. So from here, again, you just pick the one you like. Let's say I like this colorful one. Let's customize it. Again, you need to identify which segment that people become. So let's say this is interested in websites. So I'm going to actually promote something with the websites, with my website services. So here again, you can update everything as we already done before, as we did with the email and also with the other forms. So I'm not going to go through this. Again, if you want to remove this, just come here and then just disable the preferences and you can work with this. So let's say I'm happy with this. This is this is what I wanted. This is my landing page. I come here, I go to next. Should we enable double opt-in? No. Let's go continue. When a subscriber opts into this form, don't notify me. And after this form is submitted, display success message. Yes, okay, I like that. Now what you can do, instead of embedding this on your website, you get this link. So we can copy it. Now if I open up a new tab here and I go here, you see that there you go. This is a nice looking landing page for your email subscribers to join your list. One thing though, this URL looks pretty ugly, so we could also customize it from here. Let's call it something else. So let's first start with this. I don't want to be fantastic term. I think it's better to be more in brand, in line with my brand. So punchsalad.com. Oops, punch salad, because that's how business is called. So let's click on save. And then here for the page link, so this specific page, I'm going to call this website checklist, for example, and then save. From here, we can also say that, hey, punchsalad.myflodesk.com will point to this page. Yes, I want to have that. So this page becomes some sort of my home page if somebody just comes to this URL. Okay, let's try again. Copy it. Now we come here. It's the same exactly page, but just looks a bit better. And you see that the URL changes just because I just made it to my home page, kind of. That's how easy it is to set up a landing page if you don't have a website. So let's go back to Flodesk dashboard. We will get now a bit technical and connect your domain name to Flodesk, but don't skip this step. This is really essential step so that your emails look professional and they avoid the spam folder. Now, if you don't have a domain name yet, then I recommend using namecheap.com to purchase it. So let's go and hover over this icon here, and then we go to domain setup. Click to verify your domain. Let's get started verifying your domain. Let's get started. Yes. You can choose here what's your domain provider. They do list here the most common ones. So just choose your one. The steps are very similar, but it just changes where you update things. In my case, I'm using Cloudflare. That's where my domain name is pointing. So I'm going to choose that one and then click on continue. Okay, now I need to update the DNS settings. Every domain registrar and web hosting has this. It's just in different places. For Cloudflare, you simply go to DNS And now you can update here your DNS settings. And in Namecheap, all you have to do is go to your domain list, pick the domain you want to update. So in this case, I'll use this one, click on manage. Here, make sure you have the Namecheap basic DNS. Otherwise, if you don't see this, you need to update this wherever it's pointing. If it's this basic DNS, then you can go to advanced DNS. And here you can just click on add new record. So what they're saying here is that we need to create a new CNAME. This is the record name. We can copy now the name. Go here and add a record. We choose here CNAME. And again, works pretty much the same for all domain registrars. I'm going to paste the name that we copied earlier. I'm going to go back to Flodesk and copy the data as well. Go back to Cloudflare, and this is the target. Yeah, I'm going to copy paste it there. And for Cloudflare specifically, you need to disable the proxy status. I'm going to disable it like this. And then save it. Then we need to create another record. CNAME again, like this. And go back to Flodesk and copy the second one here. Let's copy it. The name, that's the name. And I go back to Flodesk and copy the data as well. So back to Cloudflare, and here in the target, I'm going to paste what I just copied. Again, disable the proxy status for Cloudflare. Let's save this like this. Now you can see those two are at top here. So if you click on continue, you can see that the magic is happening now. Now, depending on your domain registrar, this process is not immediate. So you might have to wait for 5 or 10 minutes, or in some cases, even 24 hours. So that's what they explain here, that you might even wait for 5 days to see if it went through. But usually it's quicker than that. So if I click on now and finish, you can see that view the pending records if you want them, but now it's just saying pending. And I waited like a minute or so and then refreshed this page, and you can see that it's verified now. And that's great. Now our domain is verified, and also the Gmail and Outlook and other email providers know that we are legit. We actually own this domain name. Whew. Okay, we're done. Great job with learning how to use Flodesk. Now, when starting out, email marketing can be intimidating. That's why I've created this video right here, where I'll give you my top email marketing tips for beginners. With these tips, I'm able to get about 500 email subscribers every month.